Kitching, I have to take it because Diane Kitching's at an event. She might be having a problem. Hello?
Okay.
What's up? Yeah. I'm just starting.
Usually gone.
Yeah.
Hello.
So that was Diane Kitching. She's one of my associates. So she and another lady were off to Elmer this morning to do a 3-day event. They get there, they're set up, and lo and behold, there's another Vox rep there.
Oh my God.
They had been overbooked, and so they decided, because the other Vox rep booked her table a month before Diane did, they packed up and left.
Oh.
Gracious.
I know it depends on how big the event is, but I know there have been some events that were so big that a couple of vendors were there and everyone seemed to be doing okay because there was enough people in the event walking through that, and they were far enough apart that everybody made sales, right? So
Yeah.
it is possible to make it work if they've already paid for it. Will they get their money back at least?
I don't know. I just, she knew what we were doing, so she didn't want to keep us, but she sounds kind of upset, so I'll deal with her.
Yeah, that happened to me 2 years ago. I drove like 2 hours to the event.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. So, but I just let the other one stay. Like, she booked after me. I just said, you know what? Just stay. You're already set up. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And did you both make money?
No, I left and let her stay.
You left, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying you both.
Yeah. See, events really are not my gig, not big events like that. And, when you go on other pages and you see other types of events and other types of vendors, not just Vox, the horror stories.
Yeah.
And they've paid for an event, they set up and nobody shows up because it was never marketed, or they get to a place where it's supposed to be an event and it's absolutely empty.
Yeah.
That the person has just sold stuff and never really created anything. So I'm really, really leery. I'd rather just do my face-to-face in smaller groups and put my trust in certain events that I know the organizer.
Yeah, good point. Good point. And we've had some fun doing those golf events, haven't we?
I know. I like them very much.
Yeah.
And I've had occasion to chat with some of those ladies since then, and some of them are reordered, so that's great.
Oh, that's excellent.
Anyway, because time is short.
Yes.
Is it only half hour we get on this?
Yes, good morning to everybody. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here today on the call. Women of VoxxLife, so important for us to be here. And we're really super excited today because we have the beautiful Terry Randle giving us amazing training this morning. And Lori Dawson obviously is the co-host of this with Krista Taylor, and I'm stepping in today just to get us started. So I don't know if you want to go ahead, Lori, and introduce Terry.
Well, Terry needs no introduction. She is going to blow us out of the water with her training. What I would say about Terry is she is a host extraordinaire. She is a Renaissance woman. I absolutely love her as a friend. I learn every single time I'm in her company while I'm laughing my guts out because she's fun and funny. And this is a hard thing to pull off. Totally organized. That's the part where I need some help. So without further ado, this lady who has been chosen for the mastermind training with VoxxLife is about to share some of her little nuggets with us. And we're so happy to have you, Terry. So yeah, give her.
Okay. So Lori knows most of my backstory. She finds it fascinating and has often said, you need to share this. You need to get it out there. So the story, my adversity has actually expanded over more than 35 years. So for today's purposes, I'm only going to talk about specific adversities that I personally went through, how I overcame it and flipped it to an advantage, and then kind of give you 10 little guidelines how you can pull yourself out and move forward in your own adversities. Nobody is ever going to get out of life without facing some kind of adversity, and so how do we measure how tragic one person's adversity is to another? you could have two families side by side who have the same shit happen on the same day. What makes the difference is what one family chooses to just completely fall apart. They withdraw, they go into themselves, they're, laying in a hovel, they can't see a way out. And the family on the right side, they immediately gain their strength, they gain resilience, they quickly get on the phone, they're finding a way out, they're making contacts. And that's what I've had to do over and over and over and over again, embarrass myself, just suck it up. And I've had to ask for help at times where, not the nicest of things to do, but you have to do what you have to do. So to take you back, the first adversity in my life, which really, I think it was the start of a spin-off that led to one situation, that led to another situation that brought me to where I am. So in 1979, I was married, Mr. Prince Charming. While we were dating, he was everything that you would want somebody to be, caring, kind, attentive, wanted a family. And on our wedding day, packing to go for our honeymoon, it was like a complete flip around. It was a totally different person in the room. And already the walls started to close in. So it was like a spider, right? All the good stuff is like weaving you in, so they capture you. And so, years later, through training and counseling and blah, 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 he was bipolar. He is a narcissistic with psychotic tendencies. So, yes, just charming to deal with. Anyway, there were some good times, and we were a strong Christian family, so I always had my faith and people at church. Seemingly, your friends, and I say seemingly because as soon as you need somebody, they disappear. They don't want to be involved with the family. They don't want to take sides. So you have to find a way yourself. You have to deal with it. This went on I probably stayed 15 years longer than I should have. He was always pounding into me how useless I was. Why would you want to say that? Nobody wants to hear what you have to say. Like, really, they suck the life out of you. And different times I would lock myself in the closet so I didn't have to be near him. All sorts of measures. It just deflates you like I can't tell you. Anyway, one night, I was asleep on the couch, and I just grabbed the car keys. I put the kids in the car in their pajamas, and we just drove away. No purse, no clothes, no money, no food, nothing. But it gave me a space to breathe. I felt safe, even though I was a nervous wreck, I guess.
That have been rolled out. So they're a little bit more hardy than your quick oats, which have been parboiled and just broken.
What was that? Somebody's hard-boiled something. Anyway.
It shouldn't have. I'm muted now.
Okay. And so we were living in Caledonia at the time, and I drove to Ancaster where there was a really small little family hotel. And I went in and spoke to the manager. I started to explain the situation. And I guess he could gather the gist of the necessity. And he allowed us to stay for the night and didn't worry about the money to pay for the room. Obviously, I didn't have any, didn't even have a wallet with me. But I assured him if he would give us shelter for the night that I would make sure that the room got covered by the next day. And in the morning, he and his wife brought us breakfast. They packed sandwiches for us to take with us for the day so we would have something. Would not take any money. And so that was kind of my first real experience in giving back and how you can help somebody out of their adversity and not really expect anything back. And I've kind of tried to do that all the way through my life wherever I could. So over the course of the next, as I said, like almost 20 years, I had jobs, I lost jobs. We had a place to stay. We got walked out by the sheriff numerous times. Couldn't pay the rent numerous times without a stick of food. Like not a stick, not even salt in a salt shaker. And you have to really look within, put that protective armor on. I became so unfuckwithable, if that's what you want to call it. Like, don't mess with me now because I've got these kids to look after. And the mister is a total waste of space. So I knew it was up to me. And one thing that's kind of saved me is I am a voracious reader. And getting knowledge is free. I could go to the library. I could take 10 books out at a time. I learned about business. I learned all kinds of things that I knew would propel me forward in the future. And then the next turning point for me was, and it was actually before I left with the kids, but the mister had arranged for me. He said, you're going out tonight to Pam's house. You're going to sing. You're going to have a dessert. You'll have a good time. I'm going to drop you off and I'll pick you up. That's all I knew. And as it turned out, we did sing and we laughed, but it was a Mary Kay party. And I'd never heard of Mary Kay Cosmetics before, but I was enthralled by the lady who was doing the skincare class. I couldn't even really tell you all the steps that she was talking about. But what she did say, that she was a high school teacher, her husband was a lawyer, she could make $50 to put in her pocket. And I knew that $50 over time would get me to the next steps. And I enrolled as an associate, and I stayed with Mary Kay on and off for 20 years. And what I learned from that, those gals supported me enough emotionally, arranged for me to help me get my driver's license, the business knowledge that I gained about organization, time management, inventory control, all of those things that carried me through the next different things, that I approached or took on. So I do have a very strong sense of organization. I've done trade shows. I've done all kinds of large events as a caterer. Healthcare, you name it, I've done it over the time. And the healthcare piece is another key moment in my life. I got a job as a ward clerk here, which is now called the Juravinsky Cancer Center. And I worked on the oncology ward. And my job was to transcribe the doctor's orders. And I learned that one chemo order could be 4 full pages long. That's how toxic the crap is they put into you. And as happens, both my parents went through it, and I just got myself on a mission that I was going to learn everything about nutrition and supplementation and how to get yourself in a state of preventative and proactive healthcare, because a lot of those degenerative diseases, the hearts, the diabetes, the cancers, are lifestyle choices. So that put me into my nutrition mode, and I joined a very well-known nutritional company, which I stayed with for 13 years as a director. So that was a pivotal moment for me to move forward in that. And then, as happens, that part of it started to really diminish in terms of the business model. I love the product, I love the people, I love the team, I still use the product, but the business model was really failing. The auto order was horrendous. And for customer retention, it was very difficult, because how do you justify to somebody, you need to place your auto order this month. Don't pay your mortgage. I don't care if you don't have groceries. I need those points. It doesn't work for me. So just prior to coming into Vox, I'm at a low with USANA. I'm at a low, my own health. I'd had a major viral infection in my sinuses. It was like everything in my face was rotten. That went right into 4 months of shingles. So now I'm really downtrodden. And I had seen Janet McCarricker. I didn't know her, never had a conversation. She had shared some post about Vox, and it was in the middle of the night, and I started looking at the science, and I thought, you know what, that really makes sense to me. I could understand how it would work in the body with my nutritional knowledge, and I joined up in the middle of the night. And so initially I joined because my husband had had 2 strokes and was having mobility issues. But as turns out, it was really more of a blessing for me because now it has saved me from all that past financial crap. And so now I'm in my happy spot. The family's doing great with the technology. And I'm using all of those different elements or all of those different things that happened in my life, and I've turned it into a support system for other people, which is what I love about Vox. I would never give Vox up for anything. But I'm now branching and expanding, and I'm working with other people that maybe they don't have a support system, or they don't have that confidence piece. They don't know what next steps need to be done to get them from A to B. And so that's a little sidebar to Vox. It's a coaching piece that's open for anybody, not free, but nothing in this world comes free that's worth it. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But at the end of that sad story, I came up, there's 10 things that I think that really made me who I am today, who gave me the confidence, who gave me that resilience, that bounce back ability. You can throw something at me, an idea, and I could probably give you 5 or 6 or 7 things how to get it going right off the top of my head. That's how my brain works. I've absorbed so much knowledge over time, whether it's webinars, training courses. I've taken Marie Fiorio's B School. I'm always, in the last 3 or 4 years anyway, myself paying to be coached, paying to take courses, paying to elevate, knowing that somewhere that knowledge will help me and will help somebody else. So these are my little 10 steps, if you will, to help you flip up and deal with an adversity and make it an advantage for you.
I've got my pen in hand.
Okay.
Me too, I'm writing.
Okay, so the first thing, and Lori mentioned to it, is a sense of humor. You have to have a sense of humor to get you through the crap. I'm telling you, that doesn't mean that you discount it or that you take it lightly, but having a sense of humor at times when we were the poorest of poor, and the kids and I, we had to make our own fun. You have to allow that release. And laughing actually is a healthy thing to do because it releases dopamines, right? That high energy thing. So we always try to find a way to deal with our stress in that manner. So having a good sense of humor about things. The next thing is really to be mentally prepared. So I'm prepared for the worst, but I'm always anticipating the best.
Love it.
Yeah. So being prepared means being able to set yourself up with a little process that allows you to focus and be able to break down and work through that adversity so that you can see a solution or a number of solutions. And then you look at those solution choices and pick the one that will work the best for you and give you the best outcome. Am I talking too fast?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not for me.
I love the balance here, Terry.
Do
You know,
thumbs up or thumbs down from other people.
The balance?
I love the balance in, you know, like consider the worst that could happen, but anticipate that the best can.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it because, you know, I remember my first wedding and none of the guys had their boutonnieres. Now, that was a detail that was like, Oh, bummer. But it wasn't the end of the world. So
Oh,
just a silly little example, but I know what you're saying is like worst case scenario would be, I don't know, like it poured rain on an outdoor wedding as opposed to, oh, they forgot their boutonnieres, you know?
yeah, exactly. And, there's always somebody that's far worse off than what you are. And we see them, Amy Purdy, I don't know if you've ever seen her on the internet. She's actually an Olympic, Paralympic snowboard winner. Her parents were in USANA, and at 24, she developed meningitis and lost both her legs.
Wow.
She now travels the world speaking on her tragedy, and she's had a kidney transplant and all kinds of horrible things.
Wow.
She and her partner design and make appliances for other people to use to allow them to live a better life with their loss of limb, whether it's arms, legs, plumbing materials, you name it. So now they've expanded that into a whole company. So
wow.
Like, how friggin' tragic is that? But look where she is now. Like, it's incredible. And she's a brilliant speaker.
Some intestinal fortitude and some
intestinal fortitude, right?
Because old-fashioned positive mindset.
I think basically God created women to have that intestinal fortitude because we manage the kids, we manage the nest, and we have that protection warrior spirit. Nobody comes near my cubs, man. And I think, right?
I agree.
True.
I agree. The men can walk off. They can do whatever the hell they want.
On this point, like you're on point number 2, but the story that comes to mind is with you losing your wallet coming home from Florida.
Oh.
All the way home from Florida.
Well, just the fact that I got to Florida. So before the divorce was final, I'd had a timeshare in Florida. We did as a family. And I thought, I'm using that place one more time before I lose it, in the system kind of thing. And I put the kids on a train from Aldershot. We're going down to Florida. And while I was there, I went to a car auction, bought this massive station wagon. The kids used to call it the Nano Wagon. A big old Chevy with the wood paneling. I didn't know the roads in Florida, but, I decided I'm driving home from Florida.
No cell phones, people. No cell phones.
Yeah, that's right.
You're saying it was back in the time of no cell phones.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Handled station wagon.
Yeah, and somewhere along the line, I lost my wallet. And so what do you do? Because the gas tank's getting empty. You don't even have money. It was a dial tone. You put the dime in the phone to make that work. Anyway, and I went into, there was a hotel, which was a Ramada, and it was next to a Cracker Barrel. And so first I went to the Ramada. I said, I got these kids in the car. We're a long way from home. I've lost my wallet. Again, sucking it up. Sucking it up, embarrassing myself, and asking for help. They gave us a great room. Cracker Barrel was gracious enough to let us have a meal and made sure we had breakfast until I could find a way to have somebody send me some money from Canada. So again, you're going to Western Union. It's all of these things. It was a nightmare. Anyway, we got home.
Point 2.
Yeah.
Mentally prepared.
Mentally prepared. So point 3 is to take stock of what you've been through already. And this even applies to Vox, and it's part of a coaching piece. I can't think that you are able to move forward in your business unless you take stock of where you've already been in your business. So if you've been an associate, let's say for a year, in business, you had some great successes because you were all excited in the beginning. And now, the reality of the up and down roller coaster of your business has hit, which it will undoubtedly. You have to stop and take stock. What happened in my first 6 months? What were the things that I did that garnered me the most success, either in terms of, wow, that was a great event, or in terms of, look at the people I connected and met with, look at the customers I met, how much money or stock turnover was it. So knowing all of those details about what you did, so then you know where your high points are and you know what you excel best at. And focus on those activities every day moving forward. So if doing a big event sucks the life out of you, you make no money, and you're not good at it, don't do them. Put your resources, your emotional resources, your financial resources, your time resources to the activities that bring you the most joy and the biggest return on your investment. And return on investment's not always dollars and cents.
Absolutely. And so on that point, Terry, we've been just talking recently about diamonds in our own backyard. And what's happened in conversation with my brother and Jen recently is, you two, lots of us, who are the resources within our own field, you know? And believe you me, there are a ton of people. Just yesterday, and I posted it as a comment on Terry's post, Andrea Chernin, a doctor down east, she got on a call with me with some old dolls in their apartment and talked all about the fact that she didn't have to have a knee replacement. Well, those dolls are all intrigued now because they're dealing with aches and pains.
Yeah.
Andrea just did that because I asked her to, you know, so I'm sure within the ranks, those kinds of things can happen. We have practitioners, we have people, we lock arms and have laughs and have fun and have coffee and just commiserate with each other. So I agree wholeheartedly with you. Taking stock and not being in this race and forgetting all the people that, you know, you signed up yesterday is really important. You yourself said you reached down.
Yeah.
All this week.
Always. Like, I will help anybody. I spent hours helping tons of people in Vox who have nothing to do with me. And nothing gives me more pleasure than to say, oh, you're welcome. That was great. I hope it helps. And I would always work like that. So the last little part about that, number 3, about looking at where you've been already and taking stock, is it's going to allow you to identify what your strengths and your weaknesses are. And if you know what they are, the strength part is going to carry you through business-wise. Identifying your weaknesses is going to give you an area that you need to focus on. You're either going to reach up, reach out, reach across, find a book, read a tape, whatever it needs to develop that next skill. So you're doubling up on your strengths as you move forward. Like, adversity always gives invaluable insights, that's for sure. And if you can learn from each and every mistake, and God knows I've made tons of mistakes, but He knows I made them for a good reason, and I'm sure He'll forgive me when the time comes. But major mistakes. But I'm a risk taker now.
Yes.
If you knew me back years ago, I wouldn't say shit if I had a mouthful. I was 109 pounds of beaten down, mealy mouth. Yeah. I always had a good heart, though. Anyway, so you do that inner self work and you own up to whatever part you played in your circumstance. Because nobody goes through shit unless there's 2 sides to every story. Learn from that, right?
Yep.
So know, again, what part you play in your adversities and flip the switch.
Yep.
Yeah, because we really don't have control over anybody but ourselves, right? Like, that's the truth. And so if your focus is always on what somebody else is doing or what somebody else is saying or how that person caused this for you or caused that for you, you're in the wrong place, because you have to still go through life and you can't change them. But what you do have control over is your own choice.
Exactly.
100%.
And that's kind of part of the next part, is make peace with the situation. Don't let it overwhelm, overconsume, take over all your day and join that wine club. Like, oh my God, that doesn't mean that you don't have moments, quiet moments where you might fall apart secretly. You know, I'm not saying don't ever deal with it that way or don't let it affect you that way, but make peace with that adversity. In my case, I had to make peace with the fact my ex was a major nut job. and until he leaves this earth, he will have a place in my kids' life, and they know he's an asshole, but he's still their dad.
Love you.
Well, you know what, I call it as I see it. He hasn't changed. That's the thing. He's done no growth. He's done nothing to change. He's done nothing to accept any responsibility that he played in that. In his mind, he saw it that I stole his kids, I ruined his life, and I should pay for it forever. Really.
And he's a sick individual physically as well.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. He was just diagnosed with ALS in the last 5 months. You know, I feel horrible for him to have to go through that. But again, you know, I've made peace with it.
Mm-hmm. Good
I
for you.
can't change that. He won't let anybody in because he's that controlling. He has to control it all to the end. And all I can do is be the support for the kids, how they deal with it, and how they will, you know, go through those different stages with it. Because I'm sure it'll be ugly.
Yeah.
Anyway, one thing I tried not to do was to be a finger pointer or to lay blame, because that doesn't serve anybody well during, you know, in any adversity. You know, you have to accept some of the responsibility yourself. And I accept that if something goes sideways, I'm going to find a way to move beyond it and make it work to my benefit.
Yes. Negative into a positive.
A negative into a positive. So, you know, when you dwell on the bad stuff that happens or a show that didn't go right, I mean, it can sabotage you for weeks.
Yep.
Because you let it eat away at you instead of just, okay, that happened. Let me look at it. What could I have done better? Maybe I should have followed up with the persons invited to make sure that they were actually coming. You know, maybe I could have had more stock. Maybe I could have had somebody helping me at the event. You know, all of those things, if you examine them, there are areas for improvement that's going to get you through to the next time. And kind of teach your partners when they come on. It's not all sunshine and roses. I'm sorry, it's a business. Mm-hmm. You know, be authentic and, pardon me, preparation for everything. From doing one sock and soul to doing your first presentation, it's preparation.
Is that your 6th point, Tara?
I'm sorry?
Is that your 6th point?
Yeah, we're still on 6, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Um,
because I was on 5. Don't be a finger pointer.
sorry, what did she say?
I
She
said
said
I was
she's
on
on 5.
Oh, 5, sorry, yeah. Oh, yeah, that was making peace with the situation. Anyway, so I guess we kind of beat that one up enough. So the next one is embracing adversity as a chance for opportunity.
I like it.
So, and this is what I did, okay, and this is how I've kind of evolved, I guess. And so it was during the times that I learned the most important lessons in life, and I built that resilience. So if all of those tragedies or events hadn't occurred, there's no way I would be where I am today. And if all that shit didn't happen, I wouldn't have met Dan, who I'm with now, who also had a very similar life to mine, except he was the victim. The wife was the abuser.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So obviously the life I have today would be so totally different. And the people in my life would be a different set of people. And I wouldn't know necessarily you lovelies or have, you know, this association with Vox. So there might be a key point in there.
That's a silver lining point.
It's a silver lining point, yeah. So that there's always, I guess, one bad thing takes you to the next, to the next, to the next. And there's some, I was in New York recently and had dinner with two gentlemen. And the person across from me was leaving a position that he loved, that he excelled at. And it was his choice to leave to move on to something else. And I kind of think that this way. I said, maybe that thing that you did takes you to the next thing that will take you to the next thing so that you end up with the thing that you really love to do. So, and that's what's happened to me, right? The thing was I worked over here and I've been in corporate and I've been to health and I've been to this and I've been to that. It's led me to this thing, which is now what I want to do for the rest of my life, obviously. So these things happen for a reason. Number 7 is just to refuse to give up. And so many people, when they hit a little bump in the road, they crumble. Oh, the business doesn't work. Oh, the socks don't work. Oh, my team doesn't work. Right? And it would be easy to give up. And then you walk away saying, Vox is no good. Vox doesn't work. No, the way you worked at it didn't work.
That's right. Yeah.
So there's always a way out. And so again, you're reaching out, you're reaching up, you're asking questions. You want to go to a show to somebody that you know has maybe done it a little bit better and had a better result. I've got hundreds of people on my team who do this. When I look at the downline sales, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Breaks my heart. Why'd you sign up? Why did you sign up? You are leaving money on the table every day. You do nothing. And I will venture to say, if you're not out there presenting the opportunity or the technology, your neighbor will. So just don't ever give up. Look for ways to get better. Look for a better circle to make more engagements with more people, to expand your circle of influence.
Challenge yourself to engage with your community. And Jay has given us a great way to do that by offering us what he did on the call last night. And that was bonus packages of patches.
Yeah.
So we have tools, we have to pick them up.
Yes. And use them. And it's not difficult to share kindness.
That's true.
I didn't met, so I currently am in a situation where I have had to give up driving. So I have no vision in my right eye since I had those shingles. And so I've taken myself off the road. I do my 4 square, this is what I call it. Because where I live, Food Basics at that corner, Metro and the liquor store and the bank and Home Hardware's at that corner, Giant Tiger's at that corner, and then I'm back home. So that's what I do. So if I need to do anything outside of my 4 circle, I'm either taking a cab, I'm creating ways to have people come to my home for the product, or somebody will drive me or ride along. Lori, Jan, like numerous people have helped me lots of times, or just take a cab. All of my Vox stuff fits in a full behind me suitcase. I've done it many, many times, but I get my best customers in the grocery store. So I live in a neighborhood where the Food Basics is. There are a lot of senior people. And it's not that I'm going out specifically to pick up people. I'm picking up people as I'm out doing what I need to do already. So should I see somebody with a cane who might be struggling getting something off a shelf, struggling getting it into her cart, I'm going to offer to help, obviously. Can I get that for you? I see that you're struggling. And these seniors love to have a conversation. These people are lonely. They want to have a conversation. And I just let it evolve. And, you know, after a few niceties, I like to say, may I ask, How is it that you've come to need the cane? Or how is it that you're using the walker? Do you need it all day? Do you need it for all of your activities, or only when you're shot? Get some kind of background, and they'll give an answer. And I would say I educate people on balance and stability with neurotech. May I give you my card? I'd love to have a visit with you, give you the technology, and help change your life. Very simple. May I? Not, here's my card, I'm a Vox rep, come in the parking lot, I'm going to get you on the insoles. Never do that in 100 years. If somebody did that to me, like okay, one of my favorite sayings is, I'm going to bitch slap you. I use that a lot. Anyways.
I'm just going to be mindful of time and give you a heads up. We started late, so we're just over a half hour, and we're coming up to number 8. So
okay. Well,
stick around.
And so we've kind of already talked about this, but number 8 is to have a purpose. And so as my adversities evolved over time, I found a purpose, right? And I'm crystal clear on what that purpose is. My purpose is to serve others. My purpose is to uplift, to uphold, to support, to nurture, to mentor, to be a voice for women who've been through the shit and come out the other side. That is my purpose. So if you're not crystal clear on what it is you want to do or how you want to do it, you have to find that within yourself. Maybe Vox isn't your be-all and end-all. It could be just transitioning you to the next great thing that you'll be able to assist Vox in a different way. So being crystal clear on what your purpose is. Okay? Yes. Number 9 is to keep a positive mindset. And you hear that all of the time. I have a little routine, my daily method of operation, and people that work with me know, don't bother me unless you're bleeding on the floor before 10 o'clock in the morning, unless it's an emergency. So my time when I get up is to shower, to change. I do a half-hour personal development every day. Every day. John Maxwell, Jim Rohn, you name it. I just finished 2 weeks of doing a course on how to do a live launch. So I'm always learning and looking at other people online. What are they doing? I don't follow the masses in terms of social media marketing. That methodology is just so beaten to death right now. To me, you might find it fantastic, and if it works for you, that is great. For me, I'm tired of seeing the same message over and over. If you want to connect with me and talk to me about your business, be upfront about it. Hi, Terry, it's Lori. I know we don't know each other, but I've seen your post. I think you might be interested. Can I tell you about it? I'm going to be more inclined to say, she looked at my profile. She might have seen something in there that relates to what she's talking about. Maybe I will have a chat. Mm-hmm. Don't pretend to want to be a friend with me and add me as a friend. You could give a shit about me. Anyway.
Well, I have to admit, it was your cooking that got my attention.
Well, my table, that's part of my giving back, right? My kitchen is always rocking. My table, I can take on as many people who ever want to drop by. When you've gone without and you've had no food, when you have it, I cook like there's 50 people in the house every day. Anyway, that's just part of my thing to give back. So you're developing that positive mindset. And part of that is be a dreamer, like think bigger than where you are right now, but also to be realistic with that dream. Nobody gets to 6 or 7 figures in 60 or 90 days. If you've listened to any of those webinars and you see them listed out on Facebook, join this for free and I'm going to tell you how I hit 6 or 7 figures and blah, 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 blah. They may have accumulated 6 or 7 figures over a period of time. They didn't do it in 60 or 90 days. I'll guarantee that. So don't fall for that crap. Be realistic and have a way to break down what is the end thing, okay? What is the end thing you want to accomplish with Vox? It could be number of clients is your goal. It could be number of shows. It could be a rank advancement. It could be number of partners. Look at that, put it up on a board, and then break it down. What do I need to do every day to grow? So that every day you're taking a bite out of that goal. Don't just focus on that end. Focus on the daily. That gets you to that.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit every day accumulates much faster than doing a big thing here, nothing for 2 months, and then another big thing here, because you're virtually starting over and over. So just stay with it. If doing 2 calls a day fits into your schedule, make 2 calls or 2 invitations or 2 cups of tea, whatever you want to do. A little bit every day gets you further ahead at the end. So the last thing is to believe in your capabilities, and I've already talked about that. Be willing to take on those risks, be open-minded, immerse yourself in learning as much as you can about the product and about other things that Vox touches on. Okay, it will serve you well. And I guess the last thing I want to say, for me, that's how I deal with it. Shit is going to happen. And no matter how big the pile of shit that comes my way, I will get out a shovel that will serve it. And I got lots of shovels in my garage.
I love that. I love that.
Look, you're going to be quoted. I've got at least 4 I'm going to post.
I love it.
Fine. People that know me, I say it like it is. Okay, this is my point of view. I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong. Please don't ever, take that from it. But maybe you've gotten 1 or 2 ideas, or at least a little bit oomph to tackle whatever comes your way.
Yeah, Terry, everything you said was absolutely amazing.
I have goosebumps.
Yeah. So
You did.
I'm just going to recap it really quick without expanding on any of them. But number 1, sense of humor. Number 2, mentally prepared. Number 3, take stock of what you've been through already and identify your strengths and weaknesses from that. Number 4, make peace with it. Number 5, don't be a finger pointer and lay blame. Start taking responsibility for what part you play in it. Number 6, embracing adversity as a chance for opportunity. I absolutely love that. Number 7, refuse to give up. Number 8, purpose, find yours. Number 9, keeping a positive mindset. And number 10, believing in your capabilities. All amazing points, right? Your story resonated with me. All of these points resonated with me. I mean, my life has been crazy, and people always ask me, how are you so positive? How are you so positive? How are you so positive? And so it is all of a combination of these things, right? That helps you get through, and so amazing.
Some of the things that I've done, it's not because I knew I could do them. I took on a catering company, created it, did it. And my mom said to me, how did you know how to do that? And I said, I didn't, but I didn't know that I didn't know.
Yeah. And
I figured it out.
Yeah, and Vox is that for me, if I'm being completely honest. Like, I had no intentions of being in business, right? None. It changed my life in a very fast period of time in a very big way. So 6 days from bedridden to back to life. For me, I said to my mom, this was an answer to a prayer. I will never stop telling people about this till the day I die.
Yeah. It's a gift, right?
It's a gift to share, and it needs to be shared. Like, it needs to be shared. And when you have that happen to you, that you're given that gift, then you want to find the people who you can give that same gift to. But I truly thought I was going back to work. Oh, look, Vox made me feel better. I'll go back to work now. And that didn't work for me. And I didn't know that wasn't going to work for me. And when it didn't, I had to sit back and go, okay, hold on. I can't work 2.5 hours, but I could Vox for 12 and end with a smile on my face at the end of the day. What's happening here? And so all of a sudden I was like, okay, well, maybe I should think about this more. And then I started to think about it more, but I still wasn't ready to go into business. And when I really decided, okay, actually, I think I could make this something I do on a full-time basis, well, then it was a whole new ballgame. Now you're in business, and business is more than just sharing the gift. There are other components that have to happen for it to be successful, right? And I don't think I knew any of this coming in, right? I just thought, this is really easy. I love what I do. I tell people about this and I change lives. And, you know.
I mean, the basics of Vox is simple. But there are a lot of other elements as you expand and want to grow your business. And you're a full-time babysitter when you get a team, and you're dealing with other people's woes and talking them off the ledge. You know, and I've given and supported a lot of people who've come my way in different ways, which is fine. I'm happy to do that. I consider this part of my life is, like you say, it's a gift. We are obligated to share that gift. If you had a cure for polio and your neighbor's kid had polio, would you sit at home thinking, I got a cure, I got a cure? And
I'm not telling you.
Yeah.
Or I'm too scared to talk about it.
Yes.
The other side.
That's because your fear is based on your belief that they're going to think you're selling them something.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Right? That's what it is. Our fear is because you're afraid of what the response is going to be. Instead of taking it from the point of view, I think this would really help you. I'd love to share it with you.
Yes.
Like, just be generous with the gift.
Absolutely.
So I guess that's
Thank you so much, Terry, for sharing this information. I'm sure it's.
Oh, you're welcome.
Well, I definitely
out of it.
I definitely did, and I'm sure everybody will who watches it. And so we're at that point where it's over, but we do have the call open for a little bit longer if anybody just wants to chat or has questions or anything like that. But if you do have to go, we understand, and have a great day.
Yes, thank you everybody for coming on.
Can I just throw something out there real quick? Ladies, we're looking towards an event in November to deal with kids primarily, but throw it across the board to call it Better Kids, Better Brains, Better Kids, Better Families. And we need reach outs to local parent councils on schools. So as details become available, we'll be posting it, but maybe be on the hunt for some parent council members in your community.
Okay.
That's all I want to say. And plus a big, fat, sloppy hug, kiss. Thank you, Terry.
You're
awesome. Just so good.
Sharing your story and being vulnerable.
I just wanted to say, Terry, I married your husband for my third husband.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. It wasn't. You're right. He's not a nice guy.
Yeah. Sorry. And what are you doing about it?
Pardon?
And what are you doing about it?
Well, 6 years ago, I walked away from that with the abuse center, and I knew that I would be able to recreate. So I left with nothing. Like you said, you just have your life and the ability to recreate.
Yes.
And I knew that, and I thought, this isn't the end of the world. I don't need his money, because I thought he was going to kill me if I would have taken that. I don't need his money. I don't need any of that. I just took my kids, one in college, one in high school, and the abuse center put us in housing, and I hated it. It looked great. It was the point to start over. And I actually sat for 2 months on the couch and waited. I didn't know what I was waiting for, but I knew that there had been so much going on. I just needed to sit and wait. I got a job, and I'd go to work, and I'd come home, and I'd sit and wait.
Yeah. I mean, I stayed in women's shelters. I mean, we did that whole deal. And I was fortunate. I was willing to suck it up, and the day after staying in that motel, called social service. I'd never done that before. I had never even collected unemployment in my life. But, sometimes you have to do what you have to do.
Yeah.
And they gave us emergency funds and enough for first and last rent at the time. I mean, it would never cover, I don't know what they pay these days, but at the time it was enough to get us a nice place, an emergency clothing fund. I was able to call the hospital where I had work and said, you know, I need a job. I don't have my nursing uniforms. I don't have duty shoes. I don't have a watch anymore. And I have no way to get to work. The Henderson gave me enough without having me to pay it back either. They didn't take it on my pay. Department of Nursing got me enough for uniforms, duty shoes, white stocking, everything I needed, and a month's worth of bus tickets. So this is a thing that I say quite often. I don't know how to help you if I don't know what you need.
Exactly. Well, you know what? Out of all that, because I always believe that things happen for you, not to you. So I ended up through the system, I couldn't find a decent job, and I had 2 degrees. And they thought maybe it was because my age or I was overqualified. People were threatened to hire me. So they put me in a business program or suggested I go back to school. So I went back to school and finished a diploma I'd started in social work. And then they put me in a business program to start my own business, which I did not want. I was very resistant, but I had no choice. Like I couldn't function. They gave us $612 a month for me and my 2 kids. And I had a whole life before. I had life insurance, car insurance, education fund for my daughter who was about to go to college. Like I needed to keep that up, right? So I went to the business program and started my business, and that just changed my life. The year after, I moved out to Southern Ontario, and I just decided I was going to get out. I'd been hiding in the church for 30 years. So I thought, I'm getting out of the church. I'm going to go look for different types of spirituality, energy, and I'm going to do something with all of this. I thought, what could be worse? And I think, Terry, the one thing that I get out of that, and hearing you talk, it's confirming what I believe. A lot of people are skeptical about other people, about asking for help, about advancing to help people, like you were saying, seniors and stuff, because they've never been so down that they had to ask.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I hear people constantly saying, "You're nuts. Why would I do that? Who's going to help me? Who's going to like?" And it's like, you won't know until you've hit rock bottom and you have no choice but to go somewhere. Like I went to the Red Cross to get a food card so we could eat some months.
Yeah, we did the food bank too.
And like you, it's like my kids need to do something. And my kids were older, so they got jobs. And sometimes they'd come home with groceries, or they'd say, "Mom, do you need $20? And I was like, I can't believe I'm having to take money from my kids, but we work together.
Yeah. Now my kids weren't working age at that time, but what I guess another thing that has come out, when I look at each one of my kids, they are so strong. They are so capable. They're humble. They serve their community. They are the type that they're figure-outable. You give them a challenge, especially the girls.
See, I've not had that experience. My girls have ended up with men their dad was also narcissistic and did not respect me or women, and they've tended to be with men like that, except my youngest, who is actually a real bully to her husband. I don't know why he stays with her.
Oh.
She's not taking anybody's shit, but she was the one in the house with the third husband. Her and my son. My son is great. He's strong. He does tons of stuff. He's slightly autistic, but he has survived and thrived, and he's doing well. But my girls, have that inequality there, and that they've seen so much of that it impacts them, right? I have one of them who she switches from here to there, but she's got a husband who's not very nice either. She has a little boy, so she tries to work it out, but it's hard to watch your child go through that when you did it.
And one thing I would say, the worst thing to do is stay in the shit thinking you're doing it for the kids. That is the worst thing to do.
Yeah.
Because the kids are much smarter and more in tune with what's going on behind the scenes. And my kids had, before we left, different times had said, we need to get out of here. This is not right. You know, on and on and on. All those different little, you know,
Was part of the
changes
reason,
that,
Terry, that you were comfortable in taking that step and making that move, as I recall you telling me the story anyway.
I'm sorry, what?
I said the kids and what they were saying to you at the time
Yeah.
was part of the reason that you took the step you did.
Yeah. And one of my daughters is going through similar right now.
It's hard to watch, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, she's the highest breadwinner in their case. And there's no way that she wants to have to pay him $2,500 a month alimony or support. So we're trying to find out a way to not let that happen. Anyway.
I see a hand up here. Tansy Frank has a hand up. I don't know if that was by accident or if you had something to say.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't even watching that.
That's okay. I just wanted to see. I don't see a face there, so I don't know if it was accidentally.
Did you notice we had 100 and something participants on the line?
Awesome.
It's dropped down now to 9.
It's me, Tansy.
Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
This is Tansy.
Oh, now you're cutting a little bit. I don't know.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Perfect. We can hear you. Go for it. Did you have something you wanted to say?
I was just wondering, I missed the third thing on the brain. You said better brains, better kids, better.
Oh,
and I missed the third.
That was a little bit of an announcement to say, look for that event come this upcoming November. We're trying to rally an audience for a presentation on kids primarily. We want to focus on the kids that are having focus issues and just struggles in general, concussion, brain stuff. But we don't want to limit it to the kids. So we're going to be calling it Better Brains, Better Kids, Better Families. And it's kind of in the fuzzy planning stages right now. But we just want people to, and it'll take place in Brantford with the possibility of live stream. I don't know. It's a bit fuzzy. We're only in the very early planning stages. But we do know that reaching out to the parent councils on the schools might be a great way of making families aware of the event and the fact that they can come and gather really good information from really great presenters with definite qualifications. Like we're going to have practitioners presenting. So we just want to put that on the radar.
Oh, okay. I just thought it was a great tool to talk to people also, just as a introduction. When you have better brains, you have better kids, and you have better families.
It's a great buzz line, I know, and so it's a great conversation starter for sure.
One thing that I know is that connecting with families that have children with different neurological challenges, they are very guarded, and it's a close-knit community. And so unless you find a way to make a connection with someone that has a child on the spectrum,
yes,
that you can move through slowly. Don't think you're going to approach these groups and say, hey, I'm with Vox. We got brain socks. They're not going to buy it. They're not going to listen to you.
Can you weigh in on that, Diane?
Pardon?
Can you weigh in on what Terry's saying there? Because Diane is an ADHD coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an ADHD therapist and coach, and I have ADHD, so I'm in that community. And you're right. A lot of people, and I was talking to one of my former clients. I fall in love with all of my clients, so they become I'm constantly letting them know recent things I learn as I go throughout the years. But one of them last night we were talking about, she said, you're looking at so many different things, she said, and it overwhelms me. She said, there's so much stuff out there and I don't know what to do. She said, so I feel like she's done, like a lot of parents feel this way, like they've gone through a lot of places that make them feel like it's because they're horrible parents. And so the main thing is always to remember that their children's behavior has nothing to do with them. It's not behavioral, it's neurological.
Yes.
So when you're going to approach them, be their friend. Don't judge them. And make sure that you're going, you know, like, wow, like, and ask them questions, like, you know, or compliment them. Wow, I see, like, your kid, you're doing great with your kids. Like, you know, ask them, like, you know, so how do you get this done? Like, what do you use for structure? Like, ask them questions that could be related to, you know, to their child's neurological issues. Like, so what exactly, like, makes your child have ADHD? Why did you think that? Or autism or whatever. Because my 4 kids have ADHD, and all 4 of them are very different. One's an inattentive who loves school. She could have lived in school. She didn't want to ever leave school, even as an adult. You know, it was a big, hard thing for her to get out of school and have to be in the real world. The other one is an inventor, so he has a job where he can climb posts and be outside because that feeds his hyperactivity. But he's inventing things, and now he's in a company that he's making great money, and he's having so much fun, you know, and it's great. So I've tried to actually help them develop whatever they were interested in and believe in themselves that they could do things differently than other people. Yeah. University was too hard for 3 of them, but one of them couldn't get out. She's got a master's. She would have had a PhD if she hadn't, you know, had to leave because she was getting married and having a child. So, you know, like, so they're all different. And ADHD is not about focus. It's about interest. If you're interested in something, you'll be over-focused and you can be amazing at it. But if you're not interested, your brain disengages, and it's hard for you to engage because it's your brain that's going, I don't want to do that. Yeah. So you have to remember that. It's about the brain. So if you can at least know those little basics, that it's about interest, it's neurological, you know, it's nobody's fault. So I always say, don't ABC the parents, accuse, blame, or criticize. Those are like the toxic things for anybody ADHD.
So we sort of feel that information will empower these parents in a very gentle way, and in a very informative way, because conventional approaches have probably worked to a point, but we're seeing with neurological socks, neurological breakthroughs with these kids. And we just need to very gently get that across to parents who are open to taking a look at other options. And so we want to have very highly qualified people speak at this event and see where it goes. It's not going to do anything if we don't take a risk, Terry.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, and you know what's fun? Like especially now, Jay's giving out bags of patches. The easiest thing is you say to them, I know you're probably overloaded, and you know, some people may even tell you, like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to put my kids on med, but I might have to. I can't find anything. So say, here, well, try a patch. Just try it I know it's guaranteed for 24 hours, but I've heard people say they leave it on for 2 days and it's still working. So you tell them, here's a patch, try it. It's worth it for 24 hours and see how your child does. Just remember to tell them to wash that arm with soap and take the oils off because they won't stick, and make sure it's dry. And their child sometimes will have the best day and actually sleep or be able to sit and enjoy something. That's really your best bet, is to give them something to try, because they've already been bombarded with tons of stuff.
Yeah, excellent point.
Well, ladies,
all right,
we're at an hour.
I got to get going, gals.
Yes, thank you so much, everybody.
Great. Thank you,
for
Terry.
being here. Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
And Diane for that last year. You guys have a great day.
Nancy, thanks for setting this up. I haven't had training on it yet, but I'll get there.
That's okay. No problem at all. I don't mind. It was great.
Appreciate your comments, and yeah, we just appreciate your spirit of positivity and love.
Thank you.
That's who you are.
That is who I am. Thank you for noticing.
I love your laugh.
Right
I
here.
love that groveling voice. I think it is so sexy.
Yes.
It's my Demi Moore voice. You know?
I want to hear you.
Yeah.
Sing, I want to hear you sing Betty Davis Eyes.
Oh boy. Nobody wants to hear me sing, I promise.
Now you're being compared to Kim Carnes. That's a compliment.
It was definitely wasn't on the list of my taking stock of my, it was not one of my highlights, you know? My friends
In
always,
2 weeks, girls, if not before.
I sing all the time. My friends
Okay,
always-
have a good one, everybody.
Bye. Lots of love.
Thank you.